Make sure you tap that bell so you never miss a video. Alright, I haven't done an Insurgency Sandstorm video in quite a while, and I want to give you guys an update on my opinions of the game, where we are at the beginning of April, after the month of March optimization month, and what I think needs to happen in the future for this game to survive. We all know that there are issues with Insurgency Sandstorm. I don't want to ignore them. I just want to find a solution that works. But I want to preface this video by saying I personally have over 170 hours in the game as of recording this. So for a $24 game with the discount from buying the first one and all that, I've gotten 170 hours of it. So this is no means just a complaint video. I obviously want to see the longevity of this title, and I want to make sure that we can extend the life cycle of this, because we've seen the player numbers drop. We've been online and they've been under 1,000, which is starting to get down into World War III launch numbers, and we all know how fast that dropped off the map. And obviously I think that NWI deserves better. This is a studio that was praised during the alpha and beta, not because the game at the time was an absolute wreck, but for how fast they came out with updates, update after update, patch after patch, and improvements were being made on a weekly, almost daily basis at certain points during that beta. And then after launch, we went from December to the end of February with really nothing. The developers were almost radio silent. And then they came out and said they're spending the month of March to optimize everything. And I will say that NWI has done a pretty good job at dropping an update either every week or every other week. They dropped a lot of patches in March, none that was worth making a video about. Like, yeah, some of them were like pretty good optimization fixes, but for the most part, I think when we're making like videos or showing off content on stream, it's all content like new maps, new weapons, or whatever else. They dropped an update today, which apparently fixed, from what I'm seeing in the community, fixed a lot of problems for a lot of people. And in this update, they say we've also decided to take a community-first approach to Sandstorm's post-release content development. This is what I've been waiting for personally for a long time, because again, I haven't really had a lot of issues with the game's performance. Obviously, when I'm streaming it and OBS is on the same PC and it's just running, yeah, it bogs down a little bit, but for the most part, I thought the game was pretty well optimized for my build. Not negating the problems that everybody else had, but for me personally, I always wanted content, new weapons, new maps, new everything. Let's just pack this shit in there. But like I said, I got 170 hours of this game on $24. So we will soon be polling the community to identify on which areas, features, and content players feel our team should focus on. As always, we will continue scouring the forums and monitoring social media for community feedback. All of these channels of community to dev communication are of course still important and taken into account. So here is my feedback for NWI in regards to post-content updates and development. So let's get into it. I personally think we need a new map like fucking now. Everyone who talks about content talks about the lack of maps, and like I said, it's a $24 game, but we're looking at the longevity and we're looking at big splashes to get people to come back to the game, because I know that the people who were playing it before enjoyed it. We held that player base for quite a long time, but as you're just playing the same mode, the same map, the same lane, it just gets old after a while. I feel like we need a map to bring people back in to check it out, like as soon as humanly possible. And don't get me wrong, you guys did drop a pretty huge content update at the end of February. I don't want to ignore that. In that content update, I think I actually did a video on it. They had the CTE, the competitive tiebreaker. They dropped the new like gun range. One of the most controversial things for me, because I have been following this development for a long time, was the team deathmatch and the arcade playlist. This one was really jarring to me because in the early days when we were first talking about Sandstorm, I can't remember if it was an interview or if it was like a podcast where I believe it was Mikey who went on and said that they didn't want to add a whole bunch of game modes right off the bat to split the player base. And then we come to this and we get a game mode that I don't really think a lot of the more hardcore insurgency tactical shooter players really asked for. I feel like as like your first arcade playlist, I feel like you guys could have done something with Ambush. I know a lot of people have been asking for it, and this could have been your little feeler to see how many people actually came through to play the game. We were dwindling numbers. Throw Ambush out there as like a rotational. It's gonna be here for like a week, and see how that game mode is actually received by the community. I feel like that was a really big missed opportunity. Team Deathmatch to me was just a little bit of a, here's another game mode done in, you know, however long done. Ambush, I think, was the one that we should have went with there. So I don't want to take away from that content update. You guys did drop the submachine guns, the machine guns, the pistol. But I just feel like a map is what people are really looking for, because at the end of the day, yeah, I'm using an MP5, I'm still running the same lane in the same environment. They've been talking about this construction map that's currently in the pipeline. They've also said that they have 2 of the old OG insurgency maps in the pipeline as well. Start showing it. Even if you can't fucking release it today, start to show us some of what, you know, what you guys are working on in terms of actual content. One thing that I find very strange about NWI's marketing approach is that they always, for like big updates, they make a YouTube trailer video for every huge patch, talking about like all the new weapons and this and this and this. I don't think you need to put that much production behind it. I think if you just consistently hit our feeds, whether it be on Twitter or through the community like on Steam, I think just hitting us with content and keeping us in the loop for when we could potentially get something, shit, even if it's like a blocked out level, hey guys, we're in the process of doing this, just wanted to give you a quick, like, just something to keep us on the hook. Those 2 months of radio silence fucked you guys, and I'm not gonna lie to you, and I'm not gonna beat around the bush with it. A lot of developers, that would have killed their project. I'm not gonna fucking lie. That would have solidified the death of your game. But I think with the insurgency community, there's enough of us that have been ride or dies, people who have followed you guys since the mod days. There's enough of us that are still around and are just twiddling our thumbs and waiting. I feel like if you guys get a proper marketing push where it's just not even, it's marketing, but it's just, hey, here's what we have coming up. People would just be excited. Oh shit, we have stuff to look at and talk about and discuss. What do you guys think? Like, it gets the conversation back to Insurgency Sandstorm future content and not back to Insurgency Sandstorm's future, which is what everybody is talking about right now. Another thing which I don't think a lot of people know what is actually going on with your Calgary studio. If you guys haven't heard, NWI was moving a whole bunch of their developers under one studio in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. But according to the Globe and Mail, this article was published March 12th, 2019, and I think because it didn't have Insurgency or NWI in the title, a lot of you guys might have missed it. The president of a Denver-based video game developer that announced plans to open a new studio in Calgary says the proposal may be canceled because he is having trouble getting visas. And it goes in to explain the problem of getting Keith, the president of NWI, over the border to actually open the studio. And I want to go into it here. On his most recent trip to Calgary to open the studio's office, Mr. Warner, which is Keith Warner, said an official with the Canadian Border Services Agency refused his request for an intra-company transfer work permit because the video game developer does not have employees at the Calgary location yet. He said he was granted a visa that company lawyers told him was a shorter term and is much harder to renew. Keith told the border guard that if I can't get in as the company's first employee, how am I supposed to hire more employees? To which the border officer said, I guess hire a secretary. So as of right now, outside of the actual games development, this studio and this business development is actually kind of put on hold right now. We haven't really seen an update, at least I haven't. Again, this was published about 3.5 weeks ago, and I'm curious to see where that's going to go. I don't know if that has any any hindrance on the actual like content pipeline coming into this game. It could, but again, I'm not sure. That's just, you know, that's just speculation. I personally just think that they need to reassess how they get content drops to the community. And I don't even mean actual updates. I just mean the loop that everybody gets put in. And if you guys still want to do the trailers to promote the new map and stuff, that's cool. But what I find a lot of developers don't do properly is that carrot on a stick mentality. And not in the bad way where it's just always there but never actually released. But in these guys' sense, just keep dangling stuff in front of us. Hey, new map, guys. Hey, we're working on a new weapon here. Hey, here's some new clothing. Hey, here's some new assets. Here's some new let's just get us involved in the conversation. Let's start talking about what is actually going on. I know of a partnership program that I was approached to join. I have signed up for it. It just seems like everything outside of the optimization work that they're doing is just completely frozen in time. I love the game. I love the developers. Everyone I met at E3 last year, super great people. And that's why I'm so passionate about this. I just don't want it to fail. I want them to succeed. And I just want to give them some of my feedback and what I'm seeing as somebody who I have my ear to the ground with this game and I'm still hearing nothing. I'm getting information from the fucking Globe and Mail Canada. Keep the community involved, get us a level as soon as you possibly can, and I feel like everybody would be a lot better off. And if you guys have been holding off for like a more optimized build of the game, I would ask, jump in. They just dropped patch 1.1.4 and see how it runs for you. And let me know in the comments below. I'm still curious. I always love to see all of the different performance, and I love when people actually jump in and they're like, oh my god, this shit is fixed. This is amazing. So I want to see what you guys think of this patch down below. NWI, we love you. We just want as much Insurgency content as humanly possible. By the way, guys, we just hit 92,000 on the channel. We're shooting for 100,000. So if you guys could share this video on social media, get the conversations going down in the comments below, like and do all the cool stuff. I appreciate you for everything. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.